Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a review for Damien Chazelle's fourth feature film, one of my favorite filmmakers returning with Babylon. The film reteams many fellow creatives from Damien Chazelle's past works and stars Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, Diego Calva, Jean Smart, and Tobey Maguire. Much has been already said from those who have seen Babylon, and I'm sure will be said when this film opens wide. A lot has been said about how debaucherous this film is, and that it just revels in itself, and it's completely unwieldy. And to be fair, that is a critique you can have of the film. It is an explosive film. Yet I want you to look at the film this way. At least this is the way I interpreted it, which is that I feel Babylon exhilarates and eviscerates in debauchery to parlay the hollow life of Hollywood. Chazelle maintains a rambunctious rhythm of sheer comedic consistency. Above anything else, this is a comedy, and it's one of the sharpest I've seen in a while, because not only is Chazelle a surprisingly very funny writer, but he never lets the air out of the room. He is constantly grinding in for the joke, and he doesn't allow you to catch your breath. And because of that, there just is an energy to this movie. It's so vivacious and alive that I really admired. I mean, I was laughing hysterically throughout the whole movie until Chazelle succinctly, sharply turns the film tonally and has you look inward into the darkness of what all these jokes represent. There's also, if you've ever been on a film set, which I have been on, he just lampoons it to a T. There are so many great editing choices that juxtapose two moments on a set. But another reason why the comedy always works is that he's always searching for danger within the frame, and then he makes a joke of that, which I think is very representational of Hollywood. Hollywood is a comedy. It tries to take these things of substance and makes them entertaining. It makes them palatable. It makes them worthy for financial success. And so there is a lightness even to some of Hollywood's darker stories. And I think that's because every moment of joy is juxtaposed by this darkness of existential disappearance. This is a very true film. It really understands why we want to see ourselves reflected on the screens of Hollywood, but then what that's doing to our own personal image. Now, Chazelle directs this film unlike any of his other movies. I feel like a lot of his other films, I would describe Intimacy as being one of his greatest strengths of a director. And you see that here in a lot of its quieter moments. But this is a bohemian extravaganza on par, I think, with the best of Baz Luhrmann. We had Elvis from him this year, but I think this is on par with something like Moulin Rouge, which is one of my favorites of all time. And he's able to take this just absolute frenzy and direct hatred in the form of a love letter to an empire of dreams. And I think that's also why maybe this film is receiving a little bit of polarization, because on its face, this seems like it would be a love letter to Hollywood, or a love letter to movies. But Damien Chazelle himself said that the film is a love letter to cinema, but a hate letter to Hollywood. And I 100% agree with that assessment of the film. If that was his goal, I think he nailed it flawlessly. His desire to de-lionize the myth of Hollywood seeks to answer why life has meaning and why many choose to locate it in the fakery of film. It was just so interesting where film's journey and where our journeys intersect and how they run parallel lives. And this idea that we can inject some of our own self into something that is established. The editing by Tom Cross, who won an Oscar for Whiplash. He's edited a lot, I believe all of Damien Chazelle's 4 features at this point. The editing wishes to relive moments in quick succession, the camera swirling in a haze with a bunch of really impressive quick pans that Damien Chazelle, of course, has done successfully in the past. Mary Zoffrey's costume design, the production design, you really feel that you're in this interpretation of the 20s and 30s. It is specifically Babylon, while also, again, being attached to reality. And I think the art direction here really cements you in the world of Babylon, which is necessary for a film that is about that world. The world of Babylon is the main character, and the individuals are navigating through it. So having a very well-defined setting is crucial here, and the entire creative team does a great job. I also love the score. I think Justin Hurwitz is just an impeccable composer, and what I really love about this musical compositions that he does, is especially in the main track, Voodoo Bama. He injects a lot of claps into the song, and with that you get these ideas that you need to join in, you need to conform, you need to take part of the group that watches these people that we say are better, that are privileged, that are more important, even though we all are important. You know, the audience members have just as much substance in them as anybody they're seeing on screen, but Hollywood wants to tell us that these people are more important, and so clap along. Now, the film does slow down from time to time, and when the film finds its silent identity, the characters are afraid of themselves, and you realize that Chazelle is saying that depravity is a sign of insecurity. The excess is an escape to avoid being who they are independently, and instead willingly sacrifice personality for party. And I thought that was so perceptive just of why some people, a lot of us, why we search for vices, why we love film in the first place. I found Chazelle to be such an understanding filmmaker that understands, without vanity, his role as a filmmaker. He's using the privilege that he has as a perceived auteur to just blow up the camera, explode it, and then explore the interior mechanisms at play. And truly, he is in the process of understanding what he represents, what a director does, and then he wants to try and allow the audience that same introspection. And I was completely not only impressed with his bravado, but I wanted to answer those questions. He made me engaged, and he made me intrigued to answer those questions and what those questions mean to me. Now, very often I feel that casting is unrecognized, it's an underappreciated part of the creative process, but here the actors are all in top form. They are delivering some of their best, if not their best work. But I felt the casting here was not only perceptive and subtle, but it supported the themes that the film was exploring. From the unknown Margot Robbie, indicating that stars are a product of born privilege, to Brad Pitt, who heartbreakingly satirizes his own career. The legacy of the movie star is strikingly realized as he comes to the realization that everything that he's done, all the quantifiable good of his career, the audience will not remember that. This most substantive quality that he and other movie stars possess is in their recognizable name. And to see his eventual realization throughout the film of that fact, I just found to be so just heartbreaking, and it was just achingly just real, and made you sympathize with people that I think you wouldn't normally. I don't think a lot of people would say, oh, he's having such a glamorous lifestyle, you know, why should we care about him? But Chazelle knows that these are people that have just been able to play this game a little bit better than others, but they're still people who are trying to serve others. And what happens when he realizes that he's going to be forgotten, this existential dread of disappearance. I also think a lot of actors would have taken the role of Manny and done a very, I don't know if disservice is the right word, I just don't think they would have found the layers that Diego Calva does, because he is a blank slate. He is the audience surrogate. We're experiencing this environment through him, but he is able to inject a lot of aspiration into this character. And the way he works up the Hollywood system, I just found it to be a pristine crystallization of non-white talent being characteristically ambivalent to the white gaze. You know, Hollywood would never care about Diego Calva's or Manny's individuality, only as far as they can use him for monetary worth. So just seeing him try to fight for his individuality and fight to make a name for himself in a system that doesn't want him to, I really thought that was just incredibly well realized, especially in comparison to the other people of color in this film, Joven Adepo in particular, where, again, some people have been criticizing, oh, the movie pays lip service to their arcs, they're not actually fully formed characters. Right. Just like how Hollywood has never really been interested in these people. I understand that you may say that this film then is an example and is critiquing the exact behaviors that it is enacting itself. And I understand that. I just think that I really saw what Chazelle was doing, and I think he made such a powerful impact with some of these individual scenes that I didn't need more from them. Even Tobey Maguire, who... So I saw this film, my film school brought an early screening of it. It was a sold-out crowd full of film students and faculty, And it was just such a delight when he came on screen and the entire audience burst into applause. I'm really liking this trend now of every time Tobey Maguire appears on screen, we just burst into cheers. But Maguire, who went to the Bradley Cooper Academy and Licorice Pizza of stealing a movie with one scene, he is just he's on another level. He's on another spiritual realm here. He is such a perverted delight in the third act. But I also think he's emblematic of the depths cinema has been taken to in the wake of superhero culture. Now, I'm a huge fan of superhero movies. I love Marvel, I love DC, I love comics, but I think what the industry has just taken all the wrong lessons from, and in so doing have twisted the good that's within the Hollywood industry to a point that we're really getting, we're suffering, we're floundering, because the creative process is being devalued more and more. So the fact that Spider-Man himself, the original Marvel film hero in many ways, he was the one leading us into this discovery of the depths. You know, we kept going down and down, kind of similar to Barbarian, if you saw that, into this, like, these underground, ugly, dark, just depraved settings. The fact that Spider-Man was the one to take us down and introduce us, I thought, again, was such a perceptive casting choice that I really, again, admired that Chazelle was willing to make this case and then link it with the casting. And if Damien Chazelle's known for anything, it's how to build up to a cinematic crescendo that leaves you having touched the face of cinema. But here, he punches you through filmic history in the most glorious of ways. I mean, the best way to describe how this movie ends is that it concludes, without spoilers, is that it concludes on a coked up version of a YouTube rewind edited in homage to 2001: A Space Odyssey. I don't know, if I heard that, I'd be like, tickets to that, please. Some people may feel like, oh my god, what the hell is this? But regardless, in the end, what I love about Babylon is that he is taking chances. He is taking risks. He is not taking a traditional story and just saying, isn't Hollywood great? Isn't movies wonderful? No, he actually has something to say, and I think it's one of the more necessary films to come out this year. I found it to be wildly interesting while also being delightfully entertaining. I think the cast is phenomenal. They are so empathetic while being just really talented comedians. I just think this was such a surprise of a movie. It's a movie that I really admired the danger of it, because I obviously love it, but I felt at any point this movie could have fallen off the rails. It could have become so terrible. And just walking that tightrope, I really admire Chazelle for doing it, for just creating the tightrope in the first place and then walking it himself. In the end, Babylon is a death sentence to American film fueled by the unceasing pursuit of eternity. So that's my review for Babylon. Let me know when it opens this weekend. What do you think of the film? This is going to be a very divisive film, but I really loved it. I'm hoping others do too. But let me know. And also, what are your favorite Damien Chazelle films? La La Land is my favorite movie of all time, so of course that's my favorite. But truly, he has made 4 A+ movies in my book, and I can't wait for his 5th. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to not miss any new videos from Spoilers Ahead with Anthony Post. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you at the movies.